Hello, everybody, and welcome to a late night version of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. As if we don't already work blue and work after dark, we're literally doing it after dark right now here, at least on the West Coast. It's the morning for those of you over there in another country, and of course, it's 10 o'clock at night for those of you on the East Coast. Thanks for taking a break from the from the Chiefs Chargers game to hang out with us there on Prime Video. I am one half of the Hot Mic. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined by the other half there, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good, John. Was our theme song sped up a little this week? It seemed a little different.
I could never, well, with StreamYard, I never know if they're going to speed things up or not speed things up, so it's out of my hands. I just play the video, and sometimes they'll speed it up or slow it down. It all depends on what they're in the mood for. So, I'm just happy to let me host shows on here to put up on the YouTube channel. But I got to give a shout out to people who are watching. We have seen the metamorphosis of Jeff Sneider's domicile in LA, and now to see all the posters up in such a great arrangement, I have to ask, do you hang your own posters, or do you bring someone over who is better at hanging posters than you are?
I actually did hang my own posters this time, and I did think about bringing in some. It's actually really expensive to bring in someone like gallery experience or whatever. I didn't have a leveler or anything. But I was careful about it. I had a pencil. I was making measurements. I had a tape measure. I was pretty responsible this time around rather than just doing an eyeball test. And today, I'm telling you, this place is going to get transformed even more. I finally got a couch today.
Yay!
In the last 24 hours.
Nice.
It's been a big day.
Where'd you go? Living Spaces, IKEA? Where'd you get this couch from? Come on, give a shout out. Give a shout out.
I went to the Polly and Bark outlet store up in Moore Park, which was an hour drive.
Moore Park? Holy shit.
It was so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's way deep in the valley.
But I got a good discount. So
good. That's good.
I'm not plugging them until it arrives and everything's happy.
Fair enough. All right, well, Jeff's shoving in some much-needed sustenance because we've got a hell of a lot to talk about here on the show. We're going to get into some news about the new Butch and Sundance brought to you by the Russo brothers. We're going to get into all kinds of stuff today. Okay, Jeff, you want to start it off?
Yeah.
Please, let's do it.
I'm driving home today.
Well, real quick, remember the Streamlabs address and the Super Chat. Send in your support. Some of you late night, you got your wallets out. Send it in. You see the address right above Jeff's head. I'm going to pin it in the chat. Send in your support right now. Streamlabs and Super Chats. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so I am gonna quote Alan Smithy's quote here. Yo guys, Sneider sent me his Andor screeners this morning, and it is incredible. You're gonna love the show. Hilarious. So I was driving back from Chatsworth today.
Yeah, Chatsworth.
Stuck in traffic, and I did happen to glance at Twitter, and I saw that there was a lot of John Campea talk. And so
a kerfuffle, yeah.
When I signed on today to the StreamYard, hadn't talked about it with Rocha or anybody at all today. Rocha's like, should we talk about this Campea stuff? I was like, yes, definitely. Because I think I have a different opinion, as I normally do, than most people. Okay.
So just to give a little background, a lot of people were upset today because John Campea, who, of course, we all know, we've worked together with him, both of us, and certainly he's come on the show once and donated, which was really nice of him, very nice amount. He donated a few weeks ago. He got access to the Andor screeners, and he released his social media feelings about the film way ahead of the embargo being lifted. And he may be doing a review before the review embargo is lifted. And this is on the heels of him also releasing that picture months ago for Spider-Man No Way Home of the 3 Spider-Men on the scaffold, and John claiming that he was only doing it because he was questioning whether this was real or not, and judging it by the size of someone's crotch there in the Spider-Man. I can't remember which crotch he was judging it from, but yeah, certainly a gaming the system, playing the system, and it caused quite a lot of people in our sphere to tweet about it and come after him for it. So yeah, there's a little bit of background there because we all got the Andor screeners, the first 4 episodes. We're not supposed to talk about them until later on tonight and then review sometime next week. So go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So I know a little bit of backstory about Campea and everything. Like I know he wasn't allowed into the D23 thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't. I know that much, right? He wasn't.
Okay.
He got like rejected.
Wow.
And he made a whole video, that was compared to Christian's, Star Wars thing.
Oh, the Christian Star Wars rant, the legendary Christian Star Wars.
Campea just, he wasn't allowed in, and he was upset because he'd actually spent money on a hotel, like putting his staff up and everything, to get there early to do this live reaction or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that John also today on his show said that last year, or maybe it was earlier this year at some point, he had asked Disney to be removed from their media list.
Yes, he did say that.
So I don't know the backstory or the history of what led him to make that move or how he felt. Yeah. Maybe he's explained on his other shows. I don't watch.
Yeah.
But today, everyone was coming after him, and I understand why.
Yeah.
But this is when people have to realize it's not that I'm calling everyone sheep for abiding by embargoes, because I abide by embargoes all the time.
You've gotten in trouble for not abiding by embargo.
I don't get Hulu. I don't get to watch The Patient. I don't get to watch the Mike Tyson show until it airs.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm in timeout, with Hulu right now. Yeah. And I'm not going to ask to be put back in for another 6 months. Like, after I've done a year in the penalty box, that's when I think I can go to Hulu and be like, all right, I've done my time, guys. Like, can we end this now? But so anyways, if Campea is getting a hold of this show, why does he have to respect an embargo if they're not the ones who shared it with him? If he didn't agree ahead of time, why?
These are the technicalities, right? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm fucking with the guy on this one.
Okay.
Maybe it's not cool, and maybe it shows disrespect for his colleagues.
Yeah.
Okay, but it is a sign to the studios where, all right, you don't want to share, you don't want to let me into D23, you don't want to share the screeners with me. Fine. Now it's fucking happy hunting season. It is open season, and this is the game that publishers are playing with access.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time, we are going to need to rely on you for access. But if you can go out and get it on your own, John Campea, if you've got a friend who's willing to show you his or her screeners, knowing he's not going to come back to them and blow up in their own face, you can go with God, bro. I'm with you on this one. Solidarity.
I don't know how I feel about the screeners being. I mean, like, John has a lot of friends. He has got a strong reach in this business. He's been at it for a very long time, and so he has accrued connections, friendships, and what have you, either with the studios and outside of the studios. And certainly people he knows who are friends of his get the access to the screeners. Full disclosure, his wife Anne is works for Marvel, so which I think everybody knows. So I mean, she's there. There might be connections there.
I actually did not. I didn't know that. That is a real wrinkle, because John said on the show that he wasn't going to delete. They asked him to delete his tweet, I guess.
Yeah.
But then Anne talked some sense into him, and I think John's like me. He's probably, stubborn. Doesn't want to.
And Anne is great. Look, Anne is great. I've talked with Anne. I've worked with Anne. I know Anne. She's great. So I don't know. I don't know where he's getting. Robert Meyer Burnett could be anybody. Like I said,
if I'm Anne, you don't want it to reflect poorly on her job. Like,
of course not. Of course not.
Right? So it's like, John, just fucking take the tweet down.
Right. So I'm just throwing out the possibilities of where he might have got. Certainly knows a lot of people in the business. So, it could be a number of possibilities. But I hear what you're saying. He's got a certain war that he's battling, or a battle that he's involved in here on his own, and he's trying to go a certain route. I personally don't understand getting upset about it. Like him, I know when he tweeted that picture of the Spider-Man, I know people were upset about that. I get that. The throwing his ideas about Andor out there, by the way, which were very positive. The studio isn't maybe going to be so upset about that because you're saying positive things. And like I said, he's got a reach. He's got a very popular show. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people watch his show and listen to his stuff. He tweeted out that Weird Al Yankovic supposedly apparently knew him and knew his reviews and blah, blah, blah. So his reach is long for sure in this business. And I've known that and learned that in working with him in the past. To me, I don't understand wasting the energy of a tweet and getting angry about this. Campea is going to do what Campea is going to do. He knows how to game the system. He knows how to work it for his benefit. He takes advantage of people's anti-Hollywood sentiment who follow him and listen to him and support the things that he does. There's no difference between him and Stern and other people who understand Rogan, who know how to work the system in a certain way and get tongues wagging. And with the Spider-Man No Way Home situation as an example, his subscribers went up. His followers on social media went up after he posted that picture. And that's the cachet for him. I think, in my personal opinion, he could give two shits what his colleagues say or feel about the things that he's doing. He is very clear about who he is and who he's catering to and what he's trying to do with what he's doing. And I don't want to throw too much anger out here, but some people might be coming from a place of jealousy in this whole situation.
And that's what I was getting at. Yeah. You know, they wish that they could be as free, but instead they've agreed to be under the thumb of a giant corporation.
They're afraid. Yes.
They are sheep. You know, I know that's not a fair description because I am among the sheep. You know, I've been respecting Disney embargoes for a while, right? But that is the trade-off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's a complicated issue. I think that, I mean, Campea has kind of just torched. It's all about weighing the relationship.
Right.
You know, if he wants to torch his relationship over Disney, over, you know, getting to react to Andor 8 hours before everybody, like, I guess that's entirely his prerogative, and be my guest, John. I don't really see the upside in it, but like, you know, because he was accredited for D23, right?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm Disney, I don't accredit him next year after this.
Well, look, I mean, the same thing happened to a degree with the Variety reporters who revealed the ending of one of the Marvel films recently. Was it Eternals? Like, they revealed the big surprise in their reactions the night of the premiere of the film.
That's not a cool thing, but it's not an illegal. It's nothing that they didn't.
Nothing's illegal.
At the time, and they know that when the movie screens for a public audience, that spoiler is going to come out. It's like, it's not pretend that fucking Variety let the cat out of the bag. Like, the cat was coming out of the bag anyways, guys. Yeah. You know, so it puts a news organization. It's a tricky position. You know, I agree that in the event of the Eternals, I don't think it was really called for.
I agree with that.
But it's also not something that you ban someone over.
Well, and I think in the end of the day, and look, I'm not saying everybody is coming from a place of jealousy. I want to clarify that in case people misunderstand. I think there are some people who are certainly jealous of the reach and the power that Campea has with his audience, and so they get upset. They find any excuse to be upset at him for anything he does. I get that, but there are people who don't and just are legitimately upset about a kind of violation of the unwritten rules or the specified rules of a situation. And I understand that sentiment as well. I just don't get wasting the energy and time to write a tweet or sending all this, because it's not going to affect Campea in the least bit. And once you get to the levels of a Campea, Grace Randolph, or these other people who are at that levels, they operate in a whole different way because they have to keep feeding the beast, right? And so I liken it to what you see every night on Fox News. Tucker and Hannah, they have to keep feeding the beast. They have to keep Jesse Waters. They have to keep feeding the beast. And so that's the kind of thing. And I think John knows how to play that really well and knows how to hit the right notes. Almost 95 to 99% of the time, he hits the right notes. And it may cost him a little bit on the professional side of things with studios or what have you. But the exchange is his viewership goes up, his ratings go up, his subscribers go up, and his bank account goes up. So
do we expect him to lose followers or viewers when he shares that Spider-Man spoiler?
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's not how that works.
Or the Andor thing. That's like people gravitating. Oh, see, this guy. This guy's a rebel. You know.
Just tell me, is it good or bad? Should I waste my time watching the show?
Right.
Listen, I think that, because Merle made some good points, I think. You know, it is a sign of disrespect to your colleagues. I understand that.
Sure.
But it's kind of a general disrespect as opposed to like if I've heard like Mike Fleming's holding a story, the words Mike Fleming are my trigger. If I hear Mike Fleming, I'm hitting the button. I don't care if we even before you finish the sentence.
Yeah.
So, you know, is that professional disrespect? Yeah. But you know what? We're competitors. Like, this isn't fucking hugging out LeBron and that wants to play on the same team with Anthony Davis. Like, we're trying to beat each other here. That's the point of the scoop game. With reviews, it's different. Yeah. However, it is frustrating, the embargo situation. Like, there are things that I see and you want to tell the world, and it's like, no, I got to wait 3 weeks for everybody to catch up. Now, I'm more often than not on the flip side of that, where I'm not the one being invited to the first wave of screenings and all that shit. But like, I don't know, like, where's the upside to getting those invites if you're not able to take advantage of them by putting out your reaction.
Yeah, we were recording an episode of The Jedi Way today with Laura Kelly and I, which is going to be out tomorrow. And she was telling me how Ace had gotten access to the Andor screeners weeks ago because he was part of the press conference, but he had no one to talk to about these screeners because not a lot of people had got access to them. So that's the exchange. That's the price you pay for getting the access that you get. You have to sit around and talk to nobody about it. That's kind of, nothing comes without a price, Jeff. You know that.
Absolutely. We can move on from the case. There's too much news. We had D23 and Emmys and a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah. So
it is an interesting situation to discuss.
Yeah, real quick, here's what Dan said. A review social media embargo is a very simple concept. It's a professional guideline that you accept in exchange for seeing something early. If you don't agree to the embargo, you don't get to watch the show/movie early. Breaking embargo is a big deal. There is no loophole, period. This is a very simple guideline that professionals who respect each other have no problem following. If it didn't get sent to you, you don't get to see it. And if you watch someone else's link, you still don't get to break embargo. Everyone knows this.
Why?
People work hard to get screener access. We all agree to play by the same rules. And embargo puts us on an even playing field with our coverage. Trying to game the system is pretty low. It's not something you do by accident. I agree with that. In my opinion, it's a sign.
The system won't have him. Then how is he gaming the system? He's not in the system.
Yeah.
I got it. I mean, I agree with where Dan's coming from and some of his points, but I think that, that's the loophole.
Yeah, Campea is going to play by his own rules, and he's found success doing that. And I would not begrudge him if I was smart enough to do that. And had that kind of level of evil genius for as a complimentary thing. I'd be able to play that thing because there are times where I have, had access to this stuff way ahead of other people, and I don't say shit because I got to respect.
Why do we do this? We do this for the readers. We do this for the viewers. I'm sorry if my competition on the other YouTube channel feels slighted that we don't all hold hands and sing fucking Kumbaya together. That's not the way America is. Sorry.
Yeah, and let me tell you, a lot of people in this business are talking shit about other people in this business to publicists, to studios, to each other. That's the game because everyone's competing. Don't ever get fooled by the holding hands and smiling and all that shit. People are competitive. That's the game. Ronaldo McWhiskey says, just wanting to send support. Cheers, gents. Thank you, Reynaldo. A very nice donation. Hey, if you're watching, we got 112 of you watching right now. Please, for the love of God, send in your super chat, send in your Streamlabs. You like us hanging out, giving you inside information and talking about stuff. Show some support here as you send in your questions, thoughts, and comments through Streamlabs and through super chat. All right, Jeff, let's move on to something else here. And you want to talk about, what do you want to talk about next? What are you feeling?
Let's talk about TIFF. Let's just
okay. Yeah, you said you were coming in hot out of your time at TIFF.
Do you have any questions about TIFF or anything you were
What was your favorite movie at TIFF? Number one movie.
I didn't see it at the festival. They did show it to me beforehand. I won't lie. But My Policeman.
Oh, the Harry Styles film. Okay.
Devastated, in a mess. Like, just I need a minute. Like, I can't even get up. I need a minute.
More than The Whale. More than The Whale.
The Whale was also emotionally draining and devastating, but it's a different kind of film. The Whale is very claustrophobic.
Okay.
It's like you're dimly lit. You're in this guy's apartment. It's like, the production design is amazing and everything. It feels very lived in. And also he's, gigantic.
Right.
I know that there were a lot of people upset at the Variety review. Maybe a lot of critics who have struggled with their weight. And I think both of you and I have had, weight struggles.
Yes, absolutely. Still going through mine right now. Yeah.
Clearly you can see the split along those lines. I really liked The Whale. I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
But I understand that viewpoint where some people are like, what is the redeeming value of this?
Yeah. Peter Puffer saying, what's the coda of this year? Can you say coming out of that festival? Is there a coda type of, kind of walk that line between?
Necessarily was one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the Fabelmans showed up and did exactly what everybody expected it to, right? I thought it was very good. I don't think it's quite great. Okay. I think the closest movie that you compare the Fabelmans, and I'm not going to spoil anything, the closest thing you compare it to is Almost Famous.
Okay.
If Almost Famous is great.
Wow. All right.
And maybe it's because that's a cooler movie.
Yeah.
In this, I'm not letting anything out of the bag with the John Ford of it all. But it's like, there's John Ford and there's fucking Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin's fucking cooler than John Ford. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that.
People like us are going to eat this up. I just don't know that the average, is this going to be something like people watching their dorm rooms, Almost Famous? No.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at your list here. This is your list coming out of TIFF.
Gabriel LaBelle, though, real quick on Fablemans. Gabriel LaBelle was very, very good. Michelle Williams is great. She'll probably win the Oscar if she runs supporting.
Okay.
I felt like she was the lead, which kind of sets her up to go against Cate Blanchett. And I think Michelle's been nominated 4 times and hasn't won yet. So they just may say, take the fucking supporting Oscar if we can get away with it.
Right.
Then there's the Judd Hirsch talk, right? He has like a 9-minute cameo in the first half of the film. Ooh. People are ready to give him the Oscar already.
Wow.
I thought it was okay. You know, it was a good turn. It's good to see Judd Hirsch up there and everything. And I could even get down with a nomination, but a win seems like a real stretch for that kind of part.
To me, Ke Huy Quan is still the odds-on favorite in my mind.
He was fucking great. I don't know if he's the odds-on favorite or whatever, but he was great in everything.
Yeah.
And there's no way I'm putting Judd Hirsch over that dude.
After that picture with him and Harrison Ford, that's going to go for months, man. There's no way that the people don't want to see him get it. Plus him getting cast now in Loki season 2. He's going to be in people's minds over the next few months. So it's smart.
Again, I don't know that voters think like that, but I understand the sentiment. The trailer for the Fablemans is incredible, John.
I thought the trailer was great. I like the trailer. I saw some people commenting that, are we going to go after Spielberg for the hubris like we went after other directors for their hubris? I don't know where that comes from. Spielberg has been very clear about his upbringing and what inspired him and what it was all about. I studied Spielberg for an entire summer semester at Florida State with a cinema class. This connection to his father and his mother, this science versus art creativity, has been there. That was something we were definitely we studied and were drilled on. The obsession with the music, the obsession with the son, the obsession with the stuff with his dad. All of that is there, and his mom, of course. All of that is there in this trailer. And so hopefully this is a film. And it's weird he's directing his own life story, kind of like what we're going to see with Madonna directing her own biopic. Or producing rather her own biopic.
She is directing it, but will we really see that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very proud. But this could walk the line a little bit of kissing your own ass. So but if anyone can walk that line effectively,
there's definitely a little wink to it all, particularly in that final scene.
Okay.
I won't say anything more about, but I think that people will get past that.
Yeah. I mean, he's earned it, for fuck's sake. I mean, he's entertained us for decades, man.
Listen, I think that this is Steven's year. I think it's going to win both picture and director most likely.
Really? Wow.
I just don't. Again, it comes down to competition. So if Apple splashes the pot and puts one of its 3 awards contenders out, who knows what could happen?
Well, it's also fascinating too, Jeff. Also, the other side, the Schindler's List being a film that is connected to his heritage as a Jewish man and the legacy there, winning an Oscar. If he wins this for telling his own story, we see now the 2 times he's won Best Picture or Best Director, rather, is for these films that are of personal connection to him. So it's certainly possible.
And again, maybe they don't give him director, but I'm not sure what would really even challenge it at this point. Again, it's going to be interesting to see. If this movie had come out next year, would it even be eligible for Best Picture? I don't think it would.
Good point.
The entire cast is white. All the department heads are white for the most part. It doesn't fit the new standards for Best Picture eligibility.
Good point.
I'm waiting for someone to ask that question of Universal or the Academy or whoever and be like, would this qualify under the new guidelines?
That's a great point. You have Glass Onion as 16th on your list. A lot of people are looking forward to this. It got some really good reviews online, but you don't see it quite as highly. You put it under Pearl.
Like Knives Out, you'll like Knives Out too. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
It is as simple as that. If you like the first one, you'll like the second one and ignore what I said. I didn't like the first one. I went into the second one with an open mind. Didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
These movies don't do anything for me. I think if they do not work as mysteries, and I don't like Daniel Craig's character. I just don't like Benoit Blanc.
Okay.
The cast here is certainly a strength, and then it's stunning. They just poured money into this fucking movie. The production design, the costumes, it's pretty impressive.
No surprise considering how much money they did spend on it. They said they were. Is there anything that you saw that you think will be a surprise, a hit, or a film that becomes kind of a minor obsession for people that maybe didn't have a lot of publicity coming into the festival, but coming out now, you think there's a real possibility for this?
I think Banshees of Inisherin is a little too weird to really become a huge thing. It's always great to see those guys together, Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. I'm sure Colin Farrell, he won in Venice. He beat Brendan Fraser for Best Actor at the Venice Film Festival, which was very, very surprising. I thought Colin Farrell was great, and he's having a great year, but that's a weird movie, right? It's a movie about a guy who threatens to cut his fingers off. Like, this is weird. Bros, I thought was terrific. The question is anyone going to see this movie outside of New York, LA, and San Francisco?
That's a good question.
And I'm not sure about that. I wish that wasn't the case, because I think it's hilarious. I loved it. It was so fucking funny.
Okay.
But, there's a lot of homophobia. And in fact, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to name any names.
Okay.
I got out of the theater and I talked to a prominent columnist and their friend who was female. Okay. And they said, I liked it, but could have done with less sex stuff, less kissing. And I was like, oh, interesting. And I'm just like, man, if this was a straight movie, they just never would have said that.
Of course not. Of course not.
And unfortunately, I do think that there are going to be a lot of people who, maybe get turned off by that element of it. But the other part of me is like, man, how can every gay person in America not go rush to the theater to see this? Like, this is it. This is the fucking movie. It's no holds barred. And I think it represents everyone in that LGBTQ community. So hats off to Billy Eichner, who's a lock for a Golden Globe nom. Like, if we're talking about Melissa McCarthy and Bridesmaids or Amy Schumer and Trainwreck, right? This is on that level in terms of a comedic performance. And then Luke McFarlane, I thought is a great find. I know he's in his 40s. He's been in Hallmark movies for the last decade and a half. But this guy,
stay alive, man.
And like, I look at like Green Lantern, right? They have Jeremy Irvine playing the closeted Green Lantern.
Oh yeah,
fucking can his ass and hire this guy.
Wow. Strong statement.
All right. Jeremy Irvine, the only thing I've seen him in was Warhorse, and he was good in Warhorse, but like, what else has he done?
What about The Menu? Yes, good. Yes.
Thumbs up on The Menu overall. Another weird movie, but up my alley. It was dark. Okay. It was pretty fucked up.
I thought it was going to be ridiculous, but a lot of people have given it a good review who've got to see it, so I'm excited to see that one, because
it was entertaining to watch. I mean, when you have a good cast like that, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
An interesting concept. You just kind of like, hey, where's this going?
Okay. Anything more to say on TIFF? Any other films you want to recommend? Any other films you want to throw out there?
How to Blow Up a Pipeline got acquired by Neon during the festival, and for good reason. That's a really impressive directorial debut about like 8 eco-terrorists. It sounds like a documentary. It's not a documentary. It had a lot of energy to it. Okay. Knives Out was a disappointment. The Midnights were pretty good. I enjoyed the Weird Al movie for the most part.
Really? Okay.
It goes on too long. Like, guys, you're making a fucking Weird Al parody movie for Roku. Doesn't need to be an hour and 48 minutes. 15 minutes of that real easy, and you're not going to lose anything. But Daniel Radcliffe did impress me, and it's been a while since I said that.
Fair enough. I tweeted at you all that complaining, and you still saw 18 movies. Okay. So are you going to apologize?
I'm going to write the TIFF press office a little thing, but through no help of theirs, really. Yeah. I didn't rely on festival tickets. I used one festival ticket. Other journalists had 20.
Wow.
I relied on the kindness of publicists and the kindness of, honestly, the fans who are watching this show right now. I can't tell you how many people came out of the woodwork and said, I've been watching you since the Meet the Movie Press days or Snyder Cut, or they love this show, The Hot Mic, and I have an extra ticket for this. And, those tickets that I said I was going to sell, I ended up giving away. Like, that's what it ultimately was all about. So I met a lot of cool fans, and I'm very, very appreciative for that, because it really did make my festival a lot better.
That's awesome.
And I saw Pearl Jam, dude. Holy fuck.
That's awesome. Pearl Jam. Holy crap. That's fantastic.
It was awesome.
Well, I'm just glad they didn't come after you like Beyond Fest came after McWeenie and then took down their
wild.
Tweet. That was insane. I don't understand. That was like, I'm working some shit out on you that has nothing to do with you. I mean, no one who runs the social media of a festival should respond in that way. McWeenie can be he likes to poke, and I respect it. He's not always right. He's not always right, but he likes to poke, and he's got a strong opinion, and I respect that. But coming back that hard at him, and you took the tweets down, but Twitter is forever. People screen grab them. I think was a surprise, dude, on so many levels.
And the whole situation. I mean, it's one thing to go to the Beyond Fest site and try to get tickets and then get fucked and be like, "Fuck you, Beyond Fest." It's another thing to be like, I'm not even going to bother with the Beyond Fest because it sucked last year.
Right.
Like, well, maybe they cleaned up their act. It seemed like they said, people had a pretty easy time getting tickets this time around. So maybe it was a little uncalled for by Drew, but the response was the punishment did not fit the crime.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, whoever sent all that shit or whoever okayed it, fired.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I've been fired for way less. Are you fucking kidding
me? You can't punch down like that. It just doesn't make sense. Ronaldo McWhiskey saying, "We salute you, Jeff. Heroes. Cheers." There you go. Giving you love. Ronaldo's the only one sending in. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 120 you watching right now. Send in your
sugar daddy.
For God's sakes, come on.
They're Ronaldo, make a donation.
Smithy sent into Streamlabs saying the comment was read and it was a sweet comment. Thanks, Sneider. Hope your new couch is comfy. Also, hi, Rocha. Glad you're doing better. Those horse tranquilizer pills really do the trick. Hashtag stay healthy, outlaw. No, my doctor here in San Diego, he was a former ER doctor, recommended this great set of medicines, and they all worked and got me back within a week. So thank you to them for sure. And it's great to be back doing content again and hanging out. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to this other controversy here, man. The Emmys controversy here with Quinta Brunson and Jimmy Kimmel, and of course was squashed last night when Quinta interrupted Jimmy's monologue, and then Jimmy apologized. It really was, because Cheryl Lee Ralph, when you get the queen mad at you like that, you got to respond. And, certainly her winning the best supporting actress gave her a little bit of clout that night, a little cachet. And then, of course, Quinta being the second Black woman to ever win outstanding writing for a comedy series, to having to step over Jimmy's prone body in order to deliver the speech. It was a bad optics situation, but they handled it. What did you think about all that?
I mean, to be fair, I didn't watch a single second of the Emmys.
You weren't alone. It had terrible ratings, the Emmys.
I'll be honest, I didn't even see any video of it. I did see a photo of it. And it's like, I get that you need to balance the need for, like, this is a television show. I need to be entertaining. And this also is not a major award in the scheme of things. Obviously, winning a writing Emmy is fucking awesome, but like, it's not like it was best actor or best series or something like that. So I understand maybe wanting to juice up the category with some sort of comedy sketch. Yeah. On the other hand, if this is like her first Emmy and everything, it's a huge moment for her. It's like, Jimmy, get the fuck out of there. Yeah. Like,
read the room, man. Read the room. Yeah.
Right. So like, I think it was just a bad choice. It backfired. But you know what? It made for it. I think it helped her. I think more people. Know who Quinta Brunson is after this, because otherwise it may have been a category where their eyes just glazed over and they didn't care. Yeah. And then the fact that she then gets to, capitalize on it the next day, go on Kimmel, do a sketch of her own, get back on his show. I thought it was perfect. And that's what Hollywood's kind of all about. It's like, why are we taking this so seriously? Yeah. I understand he ruined her moment, but now she gets the last laugh.
Right. Which shows how magnanimous Jimmy is to be able to do that. Look, Jimmy
he was wrong.
Yeah, he's a liberal. He's a progressive. I think he made a mistake. I think he realized the optics of it eventually were not the smart move. It was a dumb bit to begin with. And her having to step over and the backfire that he got. I think in his mind, he's lying there because in his mind, this is an equal thing. They're all equals, blah, blah, blah. Maybe she's not too aware of the optics of it all. But then, of course, as you said, handling it. Anything else coming out of the Emmys that surprised you? I mean, I don't know that Ted Lasso season 2 deserved all the awards that it got. Certainly, I thought there were better comedies that were nominated. I liked season 1 of Ted. I think season 2 stumbled a little bit, so I was a little surprised by that. Is this more a matter of like everyone just loves Ted Lasso, so they're voting for it, whether it deserves it or not? What was your opinion on that? Jason Sudeikis winning as well. Yeah,
I think comedy, they had a great lineup this year, and I loved Hacks, but I do wonder how many straight men watch Hacks.
That's a good point. Great point. I'm one of them. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think most people who give Hacks a shot will really like it, but I also think that they're, like I was a latecomer to that show. So if you're not one of those people who like gives in to something after reading enough good things, if you just kind of judge off, the first trailer, or you just see 2 women on the poster and say, that's not for me or something. Right. I don't know. I get why that show found it difficult to beat Ted Lasso, which is just a true phenomenon and benefits from Apple's, all those campaign dollars. And I thought season 2 was pretty good. Like, I think you have to expect some sort of sophomore slump, but I didn't really think that Ted Lasso had that. I thought it did something interesting with Nate. I loved what they did with the Rebecca and the owner and Toheeb Jamo and that romance and everything. So I did, and the therapist too. So I thought it found ways to be different.
Okay. Yeah, well, it certainly did. It certainly did. Me being a huge soccer head or football head, there were some elements of the show that unfortunately I ding it for because I know the realities of some of the stuff they're trying to pull off in the storylines. Whereas you have to kind of forgive it because it's a show. It's a fantasy. So I get it. But yeah, I wanted a little bit more. And were you surprised that Sudeikis won? Because didn't he win over Hader? I thought he won over Hader for Barry. So are you surprised by that?
I didn't think Barry, I don't think it was Barry's best season. That's really what it comes down to.
Season 3, you didn't think it was the best season? Oh my God.
It was a really good season, but from him personally, no.
Okay, fair enough. Ben Rayner says, hi, Rocha and Jeff. In my opinion, Better Call Saul got snubbed. Hopefully part 2 of the final season will get more love next year. Glad you're feeling better, Rocha. Thanks for the show.
I didn't realize is part 2 eligible next year? Is that how it works?
I guess so.
This was the final season.
That would make sense.
This is why I can't do the Emmys with predictions. I got to Terry and Scott and I got to huddle up about this because I don't know if it's our forte or not. We'll see.
Maybe not. Hey, look, predictions are not easy. Adam Jimenez sent in a Streamlab. He said, I'm surprised you didn't like Pearl, Jeff. It's kind of disappointing to see. I really liked X, so now I'm kind of skeptical, but I'm very excited today. They dropped the trailer for the new Park Chan-wook film. Did you guys see it? Keep it real. Jeff, thoughts on Pearl?
The trailer for the Park Chan-wook movie looks good, by the way. Decision to Leave. Pearl, I didn't say I didn't like it. I never said that. I love when people take these things. No.
You walked that line. You weren't as over about it like you were over X.
X was great. I loved X. It's in my again, if you go to the insnider.blogspot.com, X is in the standouts list. It's one of the 12 best movies I've seen all year. And we're up to 140 at this point. But Pearl was it was okay. I mean, the problem with Pearl is that it puts too much on its leading lady's shoulders.
That should never happen, though, Jeff. If you're damn good, there should not be putting too much pressure or weight on the shoulders of an actress. If you're good, Florence Pugh, you're never going to say that about Florence Pugh.
Listen, it comes down to the script as well and the lines that this actress has to recite.
Okay. I
find it very repetitive. I found if she basically says the same 3 lines over and over and over again. She has a 5-minute monologue towards the end of this movie where most people, I think, really were into this monologue. I found it fucking endless. I was I could not wait for this monologue to end. This should have been a 3-line exchange that gets dragged out to 5 endless minutes.
Wow.
There were some cool kills in it, but it again, same thing with Fabelmans and Almost Famous.
Yeah.
It's not cool. The X was about 70s and porn and cool music and we're gonna fuck and drink and party. This is you're in the 50s and it's Technicolor and stag film. It's come on. Yeah. It's clever. I actually really liked how they did the prequel, but she needs more help around her. There's no supporting cast really.
That's fair. That's actually fair.
That's what I'm saying. It puts too much on her shoulders, and
that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Good, but she's not great. I mean, Mia Goth isn't fucking Florence Pugh or Meryl Streep.
Yeah, fair point. Az Bad says Fish Az Badfish says was surprised this week that my little town actually got Clerks 3. We never get anything remotely limited. I grew up with these characters and love Kevin Smith, so I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to Woman King this weekend. Best wishes to you both. Yeah, Jeff, you said you didn't like the first half of the film, but the second half really worked for you.
First half, I haven't seen it. Total embarrassment. You're oh no, Kevin. Oh no. But the second half then kicks in and you're oh, I see why he felt he had to make this movie. Yeah. And the two of them are actually really good. I'm a sucker for Kevin Smith and for those two characters, Dante and Randall.
Yeah.
And it's just special to see those guys do it again. And it's I tweeted, when Kevin is writing from the heart, it's really quite beautiful. But that first half is rough.
Okay. I'm hopefully going to find out this weekend if I can get into it. And Woman King, unfortunately I had to miss the screening last Friday because I was still dealing with COVID and the bronchitis. But I will hopefully be seeing it tomorrow morning at 11:30. What did you get a chance to see Woman King?
Didn't see it. I mean, it has 100% around Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Right now. People really seem to like it.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it's going to do this weekend.
Yeah, it's predicted about 12 to 15 million. So, but it could surprise. It could be 20 or 25. Although me looking at the tickets tonight at 11:30 tomorrow, there's 2 seats taken in the whole theater.
I didn't get a good vibe on the overperforming front.
Yeah, we'll see.
Again, it's a tough sell, man, to the average person.
Yeah. And I think isn't the British mystery one coming out with Sam Rockwell this weekend as well?
I saw that yesterday, dude.
Yeah. Is that any good?
No.
Oh shit.
No.
I got the link. I got the link a few days ago, and I haven't watched it because I saw some bad reviews. I'm like, ugh.
That was bad. Just like clever, some clever writing, some clever one-liners, but like just a totally unengaging murder mystery.
Let me ask you something. I saw the trailer, and the first thing I thought was Saoirse Ronan is miscast in this role. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I liked her.
Oh, you did like?
I thought she was like the only good one.
All right.
I thought Sam Rockwell was miscast.
Ooh, wow.
Like
that's a strong
because he's playing British in this.
Yeah. Fair point. Doug Developer says, as an Asian, I was so happy to see Lee Jung-jae becoming the first Asian actor to win in a leading role, but it sucks people think he won it just because he's Asian. Do you think sometimes voting bodies vote for people of color actors just so they can make history?
No, at least not in this case. No, I think that Squid Game was a true phenomenon. All of us on FYC thought it might, it had the stuff to beat Succession.
Yeah.
Which, I don't watch, and which a lot of people don't watch, which everyone thinks everyone watches Succession. I'm telling you, it's a little bubble that all of you are in. We saw the map that the Ankler did. Did you see it, John?
No, not the map. No, but I've talked to many, many people who I know who do not watch Succession, man. Yeah.
The map was what is searched more per state, Succession or Yellowstone? And it was 50 out of 50.
Yellowstone? Yeah. No surprise.
Okay. Which I also don't watch.
It's a liberal fear.
Like this popularity of Succession is totally overblown.
Yeah.
And yet, obviously, it was the nomination leader going into the evening, and it did beat Squid Game. But I feel like the Lee Jung-jae win was sort of like representing Squid Game a little bit. Like we wouldn't have watched this show. 175 gajillion people around the world wouldn't have watched Squid Game if not for this sort of magnetic, sympathetic lead performance, right? Where you want to know, is this guy, is 456 going to live or die? That's why we watched.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's not who's going to win. It's, is he going to live or die?
Right. Yeah. Agreed. Chuck says, Jeff, was Women Talking that bad, or are you not a fan of Sarah Polley's films? Also, what do you think of Barbarian? Also, Barry season 3 was incredible. Yeah, sucked is right. Barry season 3 was incredible.
Did you see it? Didn't Barry season 3 was very, very good.
It's the best season of the series.
That he, showed me like that much. Did you see Barbarian?
I have not seen Barbarian. I'm supposed to go see it tomorrow night with some friends here in San Diego.
A perfectly fine horror movie that has been overhyped to Kingdom Come, and
really?
Now everyone enters it anticipating the second coming of horror.
Yeah,
I don't understand it at all. I've seen a million movies like Barbarian. Like what's the secret in the basement? Like I'm sure, like it really seems like horror for people who don't watch horror movies on the reg.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Fine. It was fine. It was totally. It was good to watch on Hulu one night.
Do you not like Sarah Polley's films? What's that all about?
Sarah Polley. No, I like Sarah Polley's films. I think she's a talented filmmaker. This movie was such a slog, John.
Really?
And listen, it has nothing to do with the fact that they're women or that they're talking the whole movie. Like, give me 12 Angry Men with an all-female cast. It'll be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. This was just so slow and boring, and you just want them to make a decision already, and I just could not get into it at all.
Okay.
Frances, I was really excited to see like the Frances McDormand of it all. She's in it for like 10 minutes.
Oof.
Jesse Buckley, Claire Foy just plays like I'm angry.
Yeah.
Like, we have to kill all the men. Jesse Buckley is, I think, the most nuanced performance. Rooney was fine, but it's not the performances. It's just like you're in this fucking hayloft for 2 hours, and it's like the way that the film is shot, the cinematography is really drab.
Okay.
Care for it.
All right. If you guys want to watch a show that has a bunch of women in it and it's fantastic, is Bad Sisters. The Sharon Horgan show on Apple TV is damn good. If you guys aren't watching that, I can't recommend it enough. If you enjoy, in retrospect, going back retroactively, Catastrophe is an awesome fucking show with her and Delaney. Yeah, it's so good. So Sharon writing this series with great Irish actors in the roles as well. So good on Apple TV. Jonathan Hale says, sorry to backtrack to TIFF. Well, how was Devotion?
Jonathan Majors was good, but the movie takes off in the second half. The second act is just so unnecessary. I would have taken 30 minutes out of this movie and thrown it in the fucking garbage. It's like an excursion to Cannes that just goes on forever and is totally pointless, other than we're bonding as the team.
Okay.
The movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it just doesn't earn that running time. The second half, some of the aerial battles are cool and stuff, but it really is Jonathan's movie. Glen Powell does not. He's kind of playing the straight man. You know what I mean?
What about Blonde? Did you get a chance to see Blonde last night?
Blonde.
Okay. All right. Owen Lansing, thank you, Owen. Very nice donation here. It says, favorite show on YouTube right here. Thank you very much. Just watched Vengeance, and it is easily one of my favorites of the year. Seems like BJ Novak has a promising career writing/directing. Also, the Drive poster is sick behind you, Jeff, there.
Thank you. Did you see Vengeance?
I loved Vengeance. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed. Do I think BJ miscast himself as the lead? Yes, a little bit. But I also think it's so well written, so well directed that I was able to forgive him. I loved seeing Boyd Holbrook in a role I've never seen him play. And Ashton Kutcher was the absolute standout of the movie for me. Totally stole the film. Did not expect that from him and thoroughly enjoyed the scenes with him. But yeah, BJ Novak, fantastic. The entire family, the cast who played the family are really good. But yeah, I think you should have cast someone else as the lead.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought the movie was okay. I was a little disappointed by it because I'd actually been looking forward to it, I think, more than most people.
Yeah.
I do think he was miscast. He should have just cast somebody else. He's just not a leading man.
He's not.
I think he's a better writer than director.
Yeah.
The end of the movie didn't really work for me. I agree that Ashton Kutcher was the standout. People really seem to be discovering this movie. I've read about Vengeance, quite a few articles the last week or so.
Yeah,
it's just one of those movies that people are catching up with now, and that's cool. And I really like BJ's FX show, the Promise or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm blanking on it. Anyways, it didn't really work for me.
Okay, fair enough. Sucks that speaking of shows, Hulu's This Fool is way too funny. I have been singing the praises of this damn show for 2 or 3 weeks now. Before I got COVID, we finished off This Fool in 2 days, and I loved This Fool. And now they're writing articles in LA Times and Washington Post and other places kind of trying to get people to watch this series. It is so good on Hulu or FX. Watch the show. It is damn good. Jeff, you seen this yet?
I actually did see it. I watched an episode because of you, and I liked it.
Yeah, see? There you go. Good to see people listening to me for once. All right, let's move on to our next thing here. What about this news? The Regé-Jean Page and Glen Powell coming together under the auspices of the Russo brothers with the writer of the Eternals to do a Butch and Sundance TV series for Prime Video. Thoughts on this, Jeff Sneider? A black and white Butch and Sundance. What are we talking about here?
I don't know. I feel like they've cast these 2 stars who appeal to young people.
Yeah.
In a property that appeals to old people. I don't know how much kids are really clamoring for Butch and Sundance.
I think the Western is making a very slow comeback. And I think and the Outlaw needs to be getting on this on my channel and be creating a Western show every week. But you sense that, with Yellowstone and other Westerns coming out, even Vengeance has a little bit of a Western vibe to it. that we just mentioned. But here with the Butch and Sundance thing, I think you're seeing people slowly kind of opening the door to it. Certainly the red state crowd loves Westerns. And then there are enough of the liberal blue state crowd that do enjoy them as well when they're done well. So you're seeing this happen. The 1883 show, we've got the Harrison Ford to Helen Mirren show coming, all from Taylor Sheridan. And so you see that happening. So Butch and Sundance, this makes a lot of sense. Now,
you're right.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know how much confidence I have with the Russo brothers, who have not really done well outside of the Marvel universe. And the writer of Eternals, one of the big problems with Eternals was how fucking boring it was for large stretches of that movie. So I don't know.
Well, you can't win rewriting. Was it William Goldman, right?
Yeah.
That's a no-win scenario for any writer, right?
True.
The other thing is, I'm surprised that Amazon is going for this because of their other show with the Russos. Are you familiar with this show?
The other show? What's the other show?
Citadel.
Oh, right.
One with Bianca Chopra Jonas and who is it? Richard Madden, maybe?
Yeah.
That show sounds like it has hit some real overages. If you've read, I think it was Puck recently.
Yeah.
It cost 200 and I think if they went 50 over, so it's like $250 million on a spy show starring Richard Madden and Priyanka Chopra.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that the Russos I guess have just made believers out of all of Hollywood because of these Avengers movies, but I would take those off their resume. What do they got? Yeah,
because The Gray Man is middling at best. What was it? 21 Bridges was not good. Cherry wasn't good. So there's a number of Russo brothers produced films that were not that good. And so, yeah, I agree with you. You take that off and Community off, there's not much there. And so they're not like Lord Miller. Lord Miller rarely fail. But with the Russo brothers, there's a lot of failure here.
And I get that the Avengers movies are two of the biggest movies of all time. I didn't particularly care for those. I wasn't a Community guy. So I'm just like, I'm out on the Russos. But
yeah.
I know I'm the exception.
Yeah, $250 million. That's a lot, for God's sakes. That's a little bit too much, too rich for my blood, as they say in the old days. Let's see, what else do you want to talk about? Any D23 stuff that you want to get into that like impressed you? I mean, let's talk about scoops versus reality, kind of bringing Campea back into this as well. A lot of people were upset at Campea and other people who were saying that there were rumors that Marvel was going to announce Fantastic Four, then Marvel's going to do this. And then there were articles the next day going, wow, that Marvel panel disappointed people, or Marvel's disappointing people. So is this a thing? I read a really good Hollywood Reporter breakdown of this that I really enjoyed. So I can't remember the author's name, but it was a really good breakdown of like scoops versus reality.
Richard Newby?
Richard Newby, yes, causing the controversy. It was a really well-written article by Richard exploring this and kind of giving you the point of views on both sides, but also kind of exploring what the costs has been indirectly and directly of this kind of battle here. What do you think about this?
I do think it's kind of like unfair. Like these studios basically have someone, say something on Reddit or on Twitter, and now this is the expectation. And if you don't live up to this, then you're a failure. That's kind of bullshit. But yeah, it's on fans learning who to trust and who not to trust.
Yeah.
And I, obviously see the proliferation of a lot of these scoopers or people who think they have sources and like, listen, I don't know if they've cast the Fantastic Four. It passed a smell test for me, Jodie Comer as Sue Storm. Sure, I buy that.
I can buy that. Yeah, absolutely.
But I also think that they're very careful about when they announce these things. They don't want to announce them too early because of how quickly things can change. I mean, you can lose fucking currency in this town overnight, just like you can gain it overnight.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand why fans are in such a rush to cast something that is, fairly far down the line at this point.
Yeah. I mean, we got the Matt Shakman news, which is a nice addition, being the director for the film, considering, how great people thought WandaVision was. Whether you like the finale or not is up for debate. But overall, a lot of people really enjoyed WandaVision. So having him be in charge here, I think is a good thing. And then we'll see the cast. But I agree with you. What's the rush? We've got so much Marvel shit coming. Why do we have to have the cast already? There's no rush. We've got so many series and movies to get through before that before Fantastic Four even shows up. So to me, it's just like it doesn't make any sense to rush it. And it also could be that they're still negotiating. They're probably looking for a very high-end talent, A-list talent. They might still be negotiating, so they can't release the names or announce the cast.
These things take, a long time.
Yeah.
Are we casting established stars, or are we casting the next generation? Are we casting younger people who can grow into the roles a little bit?
Right.
I don't know what direction they're doing. I think you want to involve Matt Shakman a little bit. I don't understand this.
Right.
Well, we're Marvel. We're going to set everything up for you, and then you just have to show up on set and yell action and cut. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If you want this guy and his vision to make this movie, let him fucking be involved in the casting process.
Of course.
Again, as far as like the big actor versus the small actor thing, it's about auditions. Are we, some of these actors, as rumored, I think it was Denzel Washington, right? I assume that was for Dr. Doom. No.
Yeah, Bardem was the big rumor for Dr. Doom.
Okay. Listen, there's a lot of rumors for Dr. Doom, and I do think that will be a probable A-lister as opposed to a Toby Kebbell. But it's like, are you going to actors who are offer only? Like Denzel, like Gosling, whoever it is, or are you auditioning people? In which case that takes a lot of time, and that's where you start to see leaks as well, whether it's a short list or whoever.
Also, the other side of this is how many of these actors really want to commit to being part of this machine. And you saw Brie Larson's response to that Variety red carpet interviewer saying, asking her, how long is she going to be playing Captain Marvel, and she said, I don't know, a lot of people don't want me to do it anymore. Who knows how long I'm going to be playing it? So, I mean, you see the frustration coming through there in that moment of someone who's taken an immeasurable amount of shit for playing a character. So how many actors are really wanting to put themselves in that kind of firing range or firing line, rather? You don't know. So that could be part of the process as well in terms of trying to lock down the actors you want.
Sure. I mean, I feel like, Fantastic Four is going to be fairly coveted. Although, every other version hasn't really worked. So, there's a lot at stake. But I think that people will want to be a part of it and work with Matt Shakman and everything. I anticipate them getting a pretty good cast for that one.
Yeah, I imagine.
And maybe not who people are expecting either.
Yeah, I like Jodie Comer. That'd be a great addition, personally. What else here? Anything else you want to talk about, Jeff?
What else came out of D23? I mean, I know that there was a little bit of Indiana Jones footage that we haven't seen yet. I like the Secret Invasion trailer. I thought that looked cool.
Yeah.
What were some of the other things? I know I watched them, but
with Secret Invasion, I think that's the closest thing we've had to Winter Soldier since Winter Soldier. So that I like that we're kind of going the espionage route and this idea of who's on what side. That's going to throw things up into the air. Do you like Tim Blake Nelson coming back as the leader in the Hulk films? Was it
Thunderbolts? Is that it?
Yeah. Do you like the Thunderbolts cast? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, that could be interesting. It just seems like kind of different for them, I guess. Yeah. I don't know how excited I should get for a Thunderbolts movie. I don't know. Who's directing that again?
I can't think right off the hand who's directing, but what I was kind of blown away by was the new rock stars who I love and who we follow each other on Twitter tweeted out like, you guys aren't ready for this cast. I'm like, they're all ensemble characters, part of Marvel movies coming together to be ensemble characters in another collection. It's not that big of a name cast. It's a good cast. Harbor, certainly Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan. But then you've got Olga Kurylenko and Hannah John Kamen, who a lot of people don't know. So, I mean, there's a balance here. And, of course, David Harbour is great to have. But, like, it's not an A-list cast down the road. Certainly Florence Pugh, but not everybody else is A-list in terms of movies, So I thought people overreacted that a little bit. So, and I love the new rock stars. No offense to them. I love them. But I thought it was weird, a weird tweet. But yeah, we'll see. All right. And anything else come out of the D23? Is any of the Star Wars stuff? Did you like seeing a little more of the Indy 5, a little more of the Indy news for that? Harrison Ford getting emotional? Any of that work on you?
No, I mean, I'm not an Indiana Jones guy either, if you can believe it.
Ow.
What was the other thing that you just said?
Any of the Willow stuff, Hocus Pocus 2, any of that?
No.
Work on you.
But yeah, like Disenchanted and Hocus Pocus. I'm just like, oh, you know, these are movies for young girls. I get it. Like, it's not for me, a 38-year-old man.
What about the controversy around the Little Mermaid? A lot of people reacting in a racist way towards her, seeing her in the role. Any thoughts on that?
Like that? Who was it? Like the douchebag guy who's like a mermaid wouldn't be black or something?
Yeah. The guy from Ben Shapiro's thing, The Wire.
Yeah, I mean, stupid. What? What is the controversy? Casting black people is controversial as mermaids?
Yeah, like what the fuck? What about Werewolf by Night? You as a horror guy, did you like that trailer?
Oh, I did not. That looked bad.
You were fucking insane. It looked great.
I'm insane because you thought that movie looked good.
That movie looked great. Great homages to old school 1970s horror, the Frank Whale, James Whale stuff. You saw that all throughout this, and then the ending, the sound cues at the ending of him ripping a body apart as she's sitting there hugging the thing. Plus, you get Fraser's agent as the evil woman in the whole trailer. I mean, dude, it all worked for me. I don't know why it didn't work for you. That's crazy.
It looked goofy. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't know. If they thought it was good, wouldn't it be a real movie or something? Like, what was the budget of this?
I don't know if they want to hand a real movie to Michael Giacchino, who is making his debut as a director. I mean,
Michael Giacchino directed that movie?
Yes. You didn't know that? Yes. He is jumping from composer to director.
Has any composer ever made that jump?
Yeah. John Carpenter. John Carpenter composes the movies for the music for his own movies and is a director. So there have been a few.
Composer though before, like he's just
I'm sure he was
his own music.
I'm sure he was composing music before. Yeah, before he became a director.
I'll reserve judgment because I think Michael Giacchino is a brilliant composer. But I mean, there's a reason you haven't seen a lot of composers make that jump. I think we'll see.
Fair enough. Let's see what else. Anything come? I'm the Wakanda Forever, Ironheart stuff, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Armor Wars. I think that was pretty much it for the and Echo and Daredevil, Born Again. Really exciting to see Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio on stage there. It's going to be an 18 episode series, Jeff. I'm really surprised by the amount of episodes.
I'm surprised too, but at least I like Daredevil. Though I'm assuming that the new Daredevil will be nothing like the old Daredevil, right?
No, I think it's basically going to be a reboot, essentially, because they kind of rebooted Kingpin to make him a little more touchy-feely in Hawkeye than he was in Daredevil. And so I imagine they're going to reboot Daredevil. The fact that they're bringing him in to She-Hulk, which is a comedic sitcom show.
So it's the pussification of
I'm not going to say that.
I'm not talking about.
You say the wussification. I'll say the wussification.
Sure, whatever you want.
With that. Adam Jimenez says, seeing Moon Age, Daydream, Barbarian, and 10,000 Years of Longing this weekend. What are you all seeing this weekend? Moon Age, Daydream, is that the David Bowie doc? Oh, nice. I haven't seen that one yet. I'm definitely seeing A Woman King. I'm going to try to see the Kevin Smith movie. I'm going to try to hit Top Gun Maverick in Screen X, where it's all around you. So, and I'm really bummed that I missed out on Jaws and Rogue One coming back in IMAX because of having COVID and bronchitis. So, it's a shame, but I'm going to try to see some stuff this weekend. What about you, Jeff?
I would like to see Woman King. I feel like there's like streaming movies that are out that I don't even know about. Like Pinocchio. I haven't seen Pinocchio.
Oof, that's getting destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So there's like one or two of those streaming movies. I have a bunch of Showtime shit that I need to watch, actually. They sent the first episode of Let the Right One In.
Ooh, the series they're doing. Nice.
So I want to watch that. They sent 3 more episodes of American Gigolo.
Are you enjoying that? I haven't watched it yet. Are you enjoying it?
I am, but like I'm enjoying it in a Showtime way, like same way that I watch every episode of Ray Donovan for 8 seasons. Like,
oh my god!
Yeah, I finally gave up. American Gigolo is like from gonna be a real hit or anything, but
after 6 seasons, I gave up on Ray. I was like, I can't go through this anymore. I just can't. Yeah, sadly, I missed the film too.
I like John Bernthal, but
me too.
It's just going to be an 8-season show.
Yeah. But Jay Washington is a recurring character, so
he is.
What Jay's doing,
dude. It's so cool to see Jay Washington on that show. I texted him immediately, dude. I was like, Luther needs a spinoff. Badass Time says, "How on earth do you guys not watch Yellowstone, the best series in years?" I
I watched the first season. The first season is damn good. And then it becomes a motherfucking melodramatic soap opera where they all just get away with everything and get mad that other people are breaking the rules while they're breaking the rules. It is fucking stupid on so many levels sometimes. It frustrates the shit out of me because that first season really was good and laid the groundwork for a lot of interesting things, but they can't just keep getting away with it. You know, Kelly Riley, I know everyone thinks she's such a badass. She can't just keep getting away with everything. It doesn't make any sense. Or Costner getting away with everything. It's ridiculous. It becomes Dallas, and I didn't want to see Dallas. I wanted something a little more grittier from Yellowstone and from Taylor Sheridan, and I think it becomes too soapy and too schmaltzy for my fucking taste. There you
go. My dad and his girlfriend just breezed through Yellowstone like I've never even seen anyone binge through a show.
Yeah.
But anytime I caught it, I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to go in the other room.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Jeff, anything more we should talk? You want to talk about, let's see here, David E. Kelly's comments, Jennifer Lawrence's comments. You were upset about that.
What were Jennifer Lawrence's comments?
You said the splitting of the, she's turning on her family for political views, and you were upset about that, seeing this is the problem. And
did I say
you tweeted something about that, but we can skip it. Let me throw out Rachel Zegler. Her comment. I know that you have had an issue with Rachel Zegler. I respect it. I have loved her, but these comments that her and Gal Gadot are making about the original Snow White are really way off base, and talking about how their remake has evolved from the original, and that the original was had a prince who was a stalker and all. What are you talking about? The prince is in it for 2 scenes in the entire fucking movie. The movie is not about the love story, because they were saying, oh, their remake is not about the love story. Neither is the original. The original is about her friendship with the dwarfs. That's what it was really all about. The power of friendship while she's trying to escape a stepmom who tried to kill her, tried to poison her, and eventually puts her to sleep. The dwarves watch over her and make sure she's okay. So it's about friendship. It's not about the fucking love story. Yeah, does true love's kiss wake her up? Sure, but that's not the point of the fucking movie. So I feel like they're a little bit pitching something that isn't real, a narrative that isn't real.
All these actors have to believe in this something, right? Listen, the original Snow White was great. We're just making it a little bit better.
It's fucking mind-blowing, dude.
Listen, the original Snow White didn't really grapple with themes of consent, and this is 2022. Like,
and what's wrong with love? Like, when did that become a fucking like negative thing to have in a movie? Yes, I get it. In the past, you've had love stories where the women are chasing the men down, or they feel like their lives don't mean anything without finding love. I get that, but you can have love in a film and still be something or a series and still be something that's important to the main character. Because let me tell you something, as someone who is in a fulfilling, loving relationship, it does change you. It does enrich your world. And it's nice to be alone and be badass and sit on the mountain, but you can't get fucked. You can't get held. You can't get really taken care of if you're all alone. So it's just throw that out there for you all to consider, because this idea that the people are anti-love, it's driving me a little bit nuts, because relationships are essential in our world and are powerful. It doesn't mean it's okay to be alone. It's okay to be single if you want to be single for the rest of your life, but you don't have to shit on love. It's like those people who are anti-religion. They have to shit on religion instead of respecting that other people find something of solace or worth in a religion. You could be anti-religion, but don't be like overtly anti-religion, because then you're no different than someone who's religious and forcing their points of views on you.
For the record, you can still get fucked if you're single, by the way.
But you know what I'm saying. If you know what I mean. Yes, of course.
I watched a woman fuck a scarecrow this week, so
I don't know what that means.
I'm not even going to tell you what it alludes to for fear of spoilers.
Fair enough. Holy crap. Let's see here. Reynaldo says, yay, support for Jay. There you go. Thanks, Reynaldo. I'll pass that on to him. And let's see. I think that's it. Anything more that we should touch on? Anything big? Did you want to hit on the David E. Kelly stuff or the Hollywood Foreign Press Association stuff, or is that
Hollywood Foreign Press? They invited 70 new members or 100 new members or something.
Yeah.
Never heard a single one of them. I mean, they're all, international correspondents, so I get it. I'm not, in Spain reading the local paper, but just kind of amazing the way that this entire industry kowtows to the HFPA when it's like, why?
Yeah, I've never understood the power of a Golden Globe. I've said this many times. I said it on Movie Talk a couple of times too. To me, the Golden Globe is a doorstop. The Oscar is what you want. The Golden Globe, the People's Choice Awards, those are they're fun to win, but it's the Oscar that gives you the prestige, not a Golden Globe.
As you know, actors will show up to accept awards from anybody and everybody, and you know that the publicists and the makeup people and the hair people, it's an industry.
Yeah.
And if you take the Golden Globes away from that, that's a lot of people who aren't, making their monthly or yearly nut. So
yeah. So, but I don't have a problem with the Hollywood Foreign Press inviting people of color, inviting more women to the voting body. They're not going to get paid, as you pointed out, at the levels that regular voting members, but it's good for their resumes. And I think in the end, that's what it's about. No different than interning somewhere or freelancing somewhere.
Their resume to who, though? I don't understand. Like,
if you're starting out, like if I got in, right, it would look good for me to be a voting member of the HFPA. Like that's another notch I can add to my resume of things that I've done. So it does add to. Is
it like, then I get a resume from someone? Oh, this person's in the HFPA. Fucking like
sure.
This person's
there's just as many people who would be like, oh, pretty cool. What was his experience like? So yeah, it's the balance. It's the balance. All right. Anything else we need to touch? I think we should wrap it up. We're an hour and 10 minutes.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Good. No more Streamlabs, no more Super Chats have come through. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us for a late night of the Hot Mic. And for those of you watching later, thanks so much as well. Remember, hit a like on this video. Leave a comment down below, for God's sakes. Let us know what you thought about it, about all the subjects we talked about and some of the controversial takes we have, as we always do on this show. We'd love to hear from you all. Jeff, where can they find you, brother? Another fun show and everything you got going on.
The Ankler, BTLnews.com. That's below the line. LAMag.com.
You have a review coming out this weekend?
I did my fall movie preview. That's up today on LA Mag. Nice. I'm about to tweet that right now. And then I am doing I have to finish my TIFF wrap up for them tonight.
Nice.
For BTL, I'll have the top 10 crafts that sort of emerged from the fall festivals. So,
ooh, interesting.
10 below the line contenders.
Nice.
And the next piece on the Ankler is about Apple, but I have a lot of work to do on it.
Oh, wow. All right, good to know. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Subscribe to the channel down below. Get me to 25,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And share this video as well on all your social media. Put that hashtag, The Hot Mic. Get your friends and family to come and join us as we have these shows every week live, talking about everything that's going on in the world of entertainment and giving you our raw, unfiltered, and authentic takes. All right, you guys take care of yourselves. Be well. Have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of The Hot Mic. Peace.